Hello everyone, and this session's topic is the source list. Source list is one of the options available for determining the source of supply for a material or service for a specific plant. Now, the source list is just a list of the possible vendors for supplying a material or service to a specific plant, and this information can be maintained for a specific period of time based on either the info record or quota arrangement or any purchase document like purchase order or outline agreement. Now the information in the source list is maintained in rows, and each row is assigned a number to identify the record, and these record numbers start with with number 1 and assigned in the order in which they are created. Okay. So to create a source list, we go to ME01. Again, let's connect to the server and start creating the source list. So we go to ME01, enter the material number plant, press enter, and this is how the data will look. The information, the following types of information can be maintained about a vendor in the source list: the validity period of the vendor to supply the material, the purchasing organization under which the vendor is authorized, the order unit of measurement in which the vendor will supply the material, the agreement document number if any, and whether a particular vendor is selected as the preferred vendor, or if you want to block a specific vendor from supplying the material to the client during that specified validity period can be maintained in the source list. The ME01 is used both for creating and changing the source list. If you want, you can maintain the entries manually, or you can click on this button, Generate Records button, and specify a validity period. So I'm going to do this validity period. And when I press enter, based on the info record, because I don't get an agreement document number or any other purchase document number, I understand that these records are created based on the info record. You can't save and it's automatically done. Because I've created only 4 records for this material in this plant, I'm able to see only 4 vendors records. If I want to add a new period, I can simply add it by manually entering the details. 231 10 08. Enter the relevant vendor number and the purchasing organization. So like this, you can also make manual entries to the existing records and save it to make the necessary changes. Similarly, if I don't want to receive material from this vendor for this period, and I can check these checkbox under the BLK column to ensure that this vendor is blocked. And if I want to make this vendor as a preferred vendor, the default vendor, I check the checkbox under the fixed column during that period. Okay, and in this way, you can maintain the records for any number of periods and specify whether a specific vendor is blocked or fixed or preferred during a specified period of time. So like this, for all the material maintained in the plants for of that company for you can maintain the data. To display, you go to ME03, enter the material number, and all the records will be in display mode. When you select a record and click on details, it will show me the record number, which is automatically created by the SAP application. Similarly, if you want to see what are the changes made to the source list, go to ME04, enter the details, and click on execute. That will show me the details, the changes that have been made. Entry indicates that it is creation. So first we created the source list with 4 records, numbering from 1 to 4. Then we added 2 more records, 5 and 6. Then we made changes to record number 3 by selecting the block to the source of supply. Record 4 we selected as the fixed number. Like this, each and every creation and change is tracked here. We also get to know which user made a change to the source list of which material and which plant using which transaction code on what date at what time and what is the document number, implement document number. Right? Now using ME01, I can create the source list for one material and one plant. Now what if my client has 20 plants? On each plant I have about 12,000 purchased material. So I need to execute. Do I need to execute ME01 those many number of times? It's a lot of work for the end users. So what SAP has done is it has provided for another transaction code called ME05 where I can generate the source list for a range of members for a specific period of time. So for this period of time, I can specify or I can select the system to automatically generate the source list based on all the records for the material plant or excluding offline agreements, all the other documents which are your info record, quota arrangement or purchase orders, or based on only outline agreements, I can also maintain the source list. For now, select all records. Now, there may be some material within this range which may already have had source list maintained. So what will happen to the existing records? You can select one of these three options to specify how it is going to be maintaining the existing records. So if I select do not change and click on execute, all the existing records will remain as it is. There will be no changes. New records for the specified period will be automatically added. So this addition will be irrespective of whether the existing record, the new records are going to overlap the existing record validity period. Even if it overlaps, it's going to add a new record with new record numbers. Okay. Else, you can select the second one which says delete. That means all existing records will be automatically deleted and new records for the specified period only will be created based on all the records. So when I select this and check our info records for our material, all the existing 6 records will be automatically deleted and new records from record number 1 will be added. And once it is saved, will only have 4 records instead of 6. Okay. However, because I already have some existing records and also because the new period is going to overlap the existing record validity period, what if I have an option to change or modify the existing record, keep the record for the rest of the period and modify it to delete the overlap period? For that, yes, we do have an option. I'm going to select the option, the third one, which says become invalid. Click on execute, and since it is a test run, it's only going to show me what will happen. So here, for this material, record numbers 5 and 6 will not change because this period is not overlapped. Record numbers 1 to 4 will be changed, so they will be modified to keep the rest of the period, and new records will be added for the new period specified. Okay, so like this, Based on the requirement, the end users are going to select the relevant option, whether they have to delete it or they have to modify the existing records and maintain the data. So I've removed the test run. Now when I click on execute for material within these plans, let's say we will take only our plans, which is VGP1, VGP2, and for that specified period, then I'm going to select become invalid, remove the test run, execute. Now see only these records, select all and save. And automatically all these records were created and added. Okay, so like this, I can create info records for all the material across different plans using the source list ME05 option. You want to see the list of source list, go to ME0M, enter the range of material numbers or plans, and click on execute, and the system will show me the list of source lists for each of those materials within that list. The records are here. For this material in this plan, these many info records exist. Like this, I can see the info records for all the material. Going to the configuration of source list. That's all about the end user activities. Yes, I mean it is very short, but yeah, that's all the activities are. Source list configuration actually consists of only one configuration step, which is defining the source list as a mandatory requirement at plant level. So when I click on execute here, it will show me the list of plants and the checkbox against each plant. And if against any plant the checkbox is checked, then all the material that are purchased in this plant, for all those material, the source list becomes a mandatory requirement. Now in case this particular plant has close to 12,500 material which are purchased, then all the 12,500 material, the end users have to maintain a source list. In case they do not maintain the source list for any of those 12,500 material which are purchased, then the system will not allow the users to create any purchase document for any of those material. Now, what if the client says out of those 12,500 material, they only want to make the source list mandatory for a few material? Let's say they want to make the source list mandatory for 3,780 material. Then what? If I check it here, all the 12,500 material, the sources become mandatory. So for this, what the option is, the end users will have to check the source list checkbox in the material master purchasing view for that material and plant. So I go to the purchasing view, specify the plant. Well, this is VGP1, and here I check this source list checkbox. So once this source list checkbox is checked for that material in the plant, the source list becomes mandatory. And yes, the end users will have to check all those 3,780 material. The source list checkbox has to be checked in all those plants. Okay. Yeah, it's a one-time requirement, and yes, they have to do all those checks, right? And because the end users will know for which material they require the source list to be made mandatory, we need the end users to do the check. If they want it for all the material, then we can do it in the configuration screen, right? So this is what the source list was all about. So with this, we end the source list topic also. Yay! And with this, we also end the master data. There is another source determination option called quota arrangement. Quota arrangement is used for specifying the for defining the distribution of stock requirement between two or more vendors automatically on a percentage basis. Okay. Now for this quota to work, the requirement has to be generated automatically. Since I'm already going to show you the automatic generation of uh, requirement during PP integration, we're going to see how quota management will work during PP integration with PP. That is integration with PP. Right? So with this, we end the master data part. In the next session, we're going to talk about purchasing. Right?